What you're about to hear is both unbelievable and unexplainable. A pair of silent twin girls, a mother who knew something was off, and a small town with an eerie secret. But before we dive into this strange and very real case, if you enjoy mysterious and thought-provoking stories, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads. Now, let's get into today's story. It all began on an afternoon in the spring of 1990. A young mother was tidying up her home in Pingyang Township, a small rural community in southern China. She was nearly finished when the sound of her 3-year-old twin daughters crying stopped her in her tracks. It wasn't just any cry, it was a full-blown, hysterical sobbing. And this caught her completely off guard. These weren't the type of kids to cry. The twins, Shai and Sharung Wu, had been unusually quiet since birth. They barely made a sound as babies, and as they grew older, their silence became even more concerning. At 3 years old, they still hadn't spoken their first words. Most of the time, they just lay in their crib, sleeping for hours on end. Their mother had gotten used to their eerie quietness, so hearing them cry so suddenly and intensely sent her rushing to their nursery. She found them in their crib, faces soaked in tears, visibly distressed. She scooped them up, checked for injuries, and asked what was wrong, but, of course, they didn't respond. They never did. Instead, they just continued crying. Eventually, after much comforting, they settled down, and soon, they were asleep again as if nothing had happened. A few days passed, and the girls returned to their usual silent, sleep-heavy routine. That's when something happened that made their mother stop in her tracks. She was walking past their nursery when she heard a sound, soft at first, then unmistakable. It was voices. She pressed her ear to the door, barely believing what she was hearing. Her daughters, who had never spoken a single word in their lives, were having a conversation. But not just any conversation. These were full-blown, adult-level sentences, fluid, intelligent, and eerily detailed. She resisted the urge to barge in, afraid that she might scare them into silence. Instead, she listened. And the more she listened, the more disturbed she became. The girls were discussing people and events from a village miles away, a village they had never visited. They spoke about specific families, places, and incidents in incredible detail. There was simply no way they could have known any of this. In most places, a mother in this situation would have been on the phone with a doctor immediately. But in Pingyang Township, this kind of phenomenon was not unheard of. This small town harbors a chilling secret. Of its 7,000 residents, over 100 claim to be reincarnated spirits of people who died traumatic deaths. And it's not just these individuals who believe it, the entire community accepts reincarnation as fact. In Pingyang, reincarnated individuals often approach others, claiming old debts from past lives or even demanding apologies for past wrongs. Sometimes, these confrontations escalate into fights. Other times, drastic measures are taken to prevent conflict. There's even a case of a butcher shutting down his business entirely because a young boy claimed to be the reincarnated spirit of a pig he had slaughtered. The butcher, fearing he might unknowingly offend other reincarnated beings, simply chose another profession. So, when this mother heard her twins speaking about another village, she immediately understood what was happening. These were not just her daughters. They were reincarnated souls. And their past lives were beginning to resurface. Instead of seeking medical help, she spread the word across the township, hoping to find someone who might recognize the twins' story. And just days later, a man and a woman showed up at her door. The moment they entered, the twins' reaction was chilling. One of them pointed and said, "That's my mother. That's my father." These were strangers to their biological mother, but to the twins, they were family from another lifetime. Then, the real shock came. The twins, barely 3 years old, began recounting a story that sent shivers down everyone's spine. They claimed that in their previous lives, they were not sisters but best friends. And together, they had made a tragic decision. They had taken their own lives. The timing of their deaths. Just 1 month before they were born into their new bodies, the twins continued sharing memories from their past lives, describing the village, their families, and even the circumstances of their deaths in haunting detail. Every fact they gave, the man and woman confirmed as true. At one point, their biological mother asked, "How do you know all of this?" The twins simply replied, "We didn't want anyone to know before. That's why we were silent." They also revealed that the reason they slept so much was because their dreams took them back to their past lives, lives they still longed for. To this day, no one has been able to explain how these twin girls possessed such accurate knowledge of people and places they had never encountered. No rational explanation exists except one. They really were reincarnated. Pingyang Township remains a hotspot for reincarnation cases, and no one knows why. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comments what you think. Could reincarnation really be real? Or is there another explanation? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.